Oh, that's nice. Jokic, I think that's as high as he can jump, but that is a nice play right there. Look at you.
Will Barton is a really nice player off the bench.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
Nuggets got a really good roster.
Appreciated.
Good game, Clippers and Mavericks. Luka Doncic driving, somehow finding the cut, and Dwight Powell for the easy slam. There he is.
Speak for yourself on good game, Jen. I'm guessing you didn't bet the Mavericks in the second half the way I did. Listen, guys.
Did you?
In the second half, down 16.
You have no respect for the Clippers.
It's not that they were down 16. I thought they could have cut it to single digits.
Absolutely not.
It was Luka. Tough night for Luka. Good thing he got to the free throw line because aside from that, he had a tough evening.
More from this one. Patrick Beverley, leading the break, finds a trailing Paul George for the big one-handed slam.
Fourth best player on the Clippers, Patrick Beverley, to the best player on the Clippers, Paul George. Look at that. Go get it, young fella. Paul George is, last year, even though he was third in the MVP race, underappreciated.
Yes.
And this year, there's understandably so much hype around Kawhi because of how last season ended.
Right.
Paul George is sensational.
No question.
Sensational.
And I might put Beverly fifth behind Montrezl.
Oh, okay.
Might.
Okay.
Lou Williams third.
Chris makes a list. Go ahead.
Let's stick with this game. Both teams riding a 5-game win streak. Both teams at full strength as Kawhi Leonard and Paul George not only played but outplayed Luka Doncic. The Claw and PG-13 combining for 54 points. Clippers win 114-99. They're now 4-0 when their two stars are on the court together. Nick, are the Clippers the biggest threat to the Lakers to win the title, or does that depend on when the two stars are on the court together?
Listen, of course, they're no threat if Kawhi is something happens to Kawhi and he's not around for the playoffs. But let's just assume relative health in the postseason. No, I don't believe they're the biggest threat. I think Milwaukee presents a very unique challenge. I think Milwaukee's the one team in the league could play the Clippers in a series or play the Lakers in a series, pardon me, and say, we got the best guy, you don't. Because that's how good Giannis is, and I think Giannis continuing to ascend. And I think the Rockets, because of the variance of three-pointer, could present a unique challenge. The reason that I do not buy into the Clippers the way everyone else does. Now, again, I think...
You got to make in the playoffs.
Of course, yeah. Of course. Listen, I think they are one of the 6 best teams in basketball. That's what I will say about the Clippers. I would not be shocked if they make the Western Conference Finals. But I also would not be shocked if they end up in that 4-5 matchup in the first round and get bounced. I think the Clippers, because of what they are going to do load managing with Kawhi, their path to the NBA Finals is going to be much more difficult than it's going to be for the Los Angeles Lakers. And let's just assume, for the sake of this discussion, that at some point in the playoffs they play each other. I think they have an enormous issue in this regard. The Clippers' identity, Chris, is supposed to be, we were told it's going to be, the best defensive team in basketball.
Right.
You have 3 of the top 5 perimeter defenders in the sport in Paul George, Kawhi, and Patrick Beverley. That's great, and that's important, and I give them all the credit in the world for that. They do not have a rim defender. And having a perimeter defender, great perimeter defenders, does not do much for you in regards to Anthony Davis. And in LeBron's career, the only guys in the postseason who have given him any type of trouble are big men at the rim.
Agreed.
I mean, we have seen him play Paul George and Kawhi Leonard and Andre Iguodala, these great perimeter defenders in the postseason, and they might be a pain in the butt, but LeBron still averages 30. He still is dominant in those series. And so the one thing that has been LeBron's kryptonite, if you will, is a big man waiting for him at the rim. The Clippers...
Even a Roy Hibbert.
Roy Hibbert was the biggest factor in the one series against the Pacers where LeBron struggled a bit, not Paul George. And so the Clippers don't have that. And to me, what's really interesting about these two teams is, aside from Andre Iguodala probably goes to one of them, neither one of them have bullets to shoot at the trade deadline because they shot them all to get Paul George and to get Anthony Davis. So these rosters are going to be mostly, aside from buyout guys, as presently constituted. The lack of a big man defender in regards to Anthony Davis and LeBron James, to me, is a reason that I don't think the Clippers present the biggest challenge to the Lakers.
As somebody who picked the Lakers to win it, I agree with a lot of what you said, and I like what you said. And you know how this business is. I'm not thinking as a fan. I'm thinking as a guy that wants his pick to be right. As analysts, that's what we want, right? So I want the Lakers to win it. But the Clippers scare me to no end. I mean, and Milwaukee, I don't think can beat the Lakers. You're right. Giannis might end up being the best player on the floor in that series, but there's no second guy.
But why do the Clippers scare you to no end?
One, you talked about the defense, and you're right. At the rim, I disagree with you. I think they do have the pieces. They have enough depth where if they wanted to go out and they're not getting a superstar big man, but they could get a rangy 7-footer at the rim who might be able to, deter LeBron at the rim. But beyond that, number one, let's start here. Kawhi Leonard. He doesn't lose. I mean, Kawhi Leonard, he's number one all time. 200 or more games played in NBA history has the highest winning percentage ever. 7.738, 73.8%. Yep. Second is Magic Johnson. Okay, the last time we saw Kawhi Leonard lose in a playoff series was 2017. And in that series, they had the Golden State Warriors. He was on San Antonio. Had the Golden State Warriors of Kevin Durant and Steph Curry down 23 points. It had been 25 when he got hurt with the ankle injury.
Yep.
Now, I've always said not only would the Warriors have come back to win that series, but they would have come back and won that game. But now, after watching Kawhi since then, I mean, this guy is a winner. And last year, what he did in Toronto, nobody expected that, okay? And now they're 11-2 when he's on the floor. They have the best. I know they don't have the best record as far as wins and losses, but they have the most impressive record in the league so far. They've beaten Houston, Toronto, the Lakers, Dallas. I mean, they've beaten all of the bigwigs for the most part. And when Kawhi, and remember, defensively, I don't know if you're looking at the numbers, and they're not as high as you would think.
They're ninth in defense. Yep.
But remember, Paul George just came back. Kawhi Leonard sits out every third or fourth game. So when they have their full complement of players, I think their defense is tenacious. You got the coach, obviously, in Doc Rivers. And here's another thing, Nick. The Lakers have got to match the Clippers' hunger. The Clippers are some dogs. From Kawhi, Paul George somewhat, but Montrezl Harrell, Patrick Beverley. Now, the Lakers do have Avery Bradley, Danny Green,
for sure,
and Rajon Rondo. They're dogs. But they have got to show me that they can match the Clippers' hunger. And that's what I want to see. And again, I picked the Lakers, but I'm telling you, the Clippers scare me, and nobody else in the league scares me for the Lakers.
But listen to what you both said. When Kawhi is in the game, if they're at full strength, both of you are throwing these caveats out there and having this conversation. There's no guarantee. We're not even sure how healthy he is, so how deep into the playoffs he's going to go. We're not even sure how many games he and Paul George are going to play together. They're 4-0 when the two play together. When the two play together, if he's healthy enough to be back, you have to factor that in, don't you?
To me, the reason I'm not factoring it into this specific discussion is if Kawhi's not in the series, they got no shot.
Right.
But where I will factor it in is here. He is going to miss games throughout the year, and their record is going to suffer because of it. And how tired, how much work are you going to have to put forth in late April and early May to get through a tougher series than you otherwise should have to play when the Lakers are sweeping the Timberwolves and you're in a 6 or 7 game battle with Utah or with Denver or with Houston or whomever you play if you do fall in that 4 or 5 matchup. And one point that I do want to pick nits with yours, because I hear this all the time, and it's correct. Kawhi Leonard is the highest winning percentage in the history of basketball. I think it's very important, and I'm glad you mentioned who's second highest is. It's Magic Johnson. What do those two guys have in common? Drafted to all-time teams with all-time players already there. It's a little misleading because the best players ever typically go to teams that were terrible right when they got there, right? So, I mean, the Bulls were awful when they, and it took Michael a couple years to build it up. It took LeBron a couple years to build it up. Kawhi goes to Duncan Spurs. Magic goes to Kareem's Lakers. And because of that, they don't have the 32 and 50 rookie season that ruins their career win percentage in this regard. Kawhi is a winner. Kawhi is an excellent player. But the other question I do have is, in the postseason, are they going to be asking Kawhi to guard LeBron? Because I don't know that they are. I watched them play Houston. They asked Patrick Beverly to guard James Harden. You try to put Patrick Beverly on LeBron James, you are drawing dead. It's not 2011. It's not JJ Barea.
I think he'll be on him a little bit.
And I think that is a terrible. LeBron has learned in the last decade. He will take him to the block and he will ruin it.
But here's what the Clippers will do. Kawhi will be on him at times. Paul George will be on him at times. Mo Harkless will be on him at times. And Beverly here and there. I don't think Beverly will have a steady diet of LeBron. And I don't know about if LeBron's going to take him in the post consistently because that's not their offense. Sure. And the last thing you want to do is get out of what you do well because of the way they're guarding you.
I want to see who they have to guard Anthony Davis. I think come the postseason, Anthony Davis needs to get more down low. He's doing a lot of stuff on the perimeter right now, which I understand. If he gets down low more in the postseason when they play him at the center more, I don't think the Clippers have an answer for that matchup right there, at least as presently constituted.
All right, let's take a break.